Okay, so this is a video I really wanted to record for a while because like when I talk to people about AI, they just say, you know, I'm learning this one tool for marketing with AI and it just automates my pipeline. And another person is like, well, there's this cool tool, you know, I'm learning it right now for editing my videos with AI and so forth. And I guess just to not repeat this rant over and over and over to people, I want to just do a video. And my advice to you is don't train yourself on the newest, shiniest things, because the big LLM houses like OpenAI and Anthropic are just going to like integrate this thing into their main agent. So at this point, the agents of both Claude Code and Codex they have been good enough like 2 versions ago, but they're at this point good enough to become most people's extended virtual assistant, and all the things that you can do on a computer, it can just be extended. And instead of learning all these things, you make it learn about you. And what do I mean by that is that instead of investing in these like tools and everything like that, you just get yourself a basic membership in one of those providers, whatever one you like better, and you begin structuring your folder. So let's say you're into like, I don't know, you have a website, a small business, and you teach some classes, stuff like that. You don't do any insane coding per se. You just want to like help with editing videos, and you want help with managing your website or something like that, or like run your email campaigns for you. And so the best way to start is to just do a folder. You create a folder, and a folder is an agent in a sense. That way it leaves notes. If you set it up a certain way, like agents.md, an agent.md file is like the first file that the agent's going to load upon starting a conversation with you. Whatever you prompted, first thing first, agents.md. So this is where your chance is to give those instructions, the main instructions, like, you know, this is what the project's about. You're located in here. My website is this. You log into it this way, or even and the main part, like the big secret, is the loop, is the self-learning loop. So the agents.md file has an instruction at the bottom of it that says, go before starting, go read, you know, journal.md or learnings.md, or you call it whatever you want to call it, like kind of notes. Go read notes, and then at the end of a session, a work session, leave your own note with only the super important information for your future self. And that creates a loop where every time the AI starts work, it loads up all the context about who you are, where your website is, or what you like to do, and everything like that. And then it goes in and looks at the history of everything you've done together so far to catch up to speed. So as you continue working with it, the file itself or the folder itself becomes richer and richer. You can then enrich it even a step further. You can say, okay, now we have brand guidelines. Let's say you have your specific colors, you have your specific font, and a specific way you want the thing to talk to your audience, henceforth, whatever. So now agents.md says, hey, check out brandguide.md, and that MD is basically just a text file. It's written in human, plain English, no code, no nothing. It just describes what to do, and they just refer to each other. You can say agents to load you know, journal, and journal can say at the end of it to go back to agents or something like that. Correct agents for any inaccuracies if you encounter, for example. That's a cool one. Cleanup, a recursive cleanup. So then if you set up this folder, and I know it sounds complicated, but it's just like 2 files. If you set up this folder and you begin working with it, now it's a thing that you own, the intellectual property that naturally grows through the work that you're doing with it, and it is a folder. And let's say you don't like, you know, OpenAI. You say, I don't like ChatGPT, I want to switch to Anthropic. You just plug in Anthropic into the exact same folder, and you just keep going. So you didn't waste time learning a tool that becomes obsolete in like 5 months, 6 months, whenever it gets integrated. You are working with a generalist. The AI agent is already pretty good at most things. And then you continue moving forward. And one of the best things is also like, oh, it's complex. I don't know how to integrate and how to connect my website to the thing. Well, how would you get a human to connect it, right? You would sit down, let's say a person who's supposed to take over your website, you sit them down, you say, here, I logged into my domain and hosting panel, set it up in a way that you can do, but you can do that same thing with an agent. You can just say, here, I opened the browser, I'm logged into my whatever, GoDaddy or whatever you guys use, and you just say, hey, set it up so that the website, so you have all the keys and passwords and save it safely in the workspace. And now you have an agent that just can update your website for you whenever you feel like. And it knows your website, and it knows, and now this agent learns more about you, and you just take it with you as you go. You don't need to learn some kind of interface. You just type in regular English with broken grammar, with misspellings. You can sound like an idiot, it would still understand, and it would still just behave as an assistant. If you give it enough context, if you show it enough about you, give it enough access and enough description, and if your intent is clear, then it's better than a human assistant, honestly. Okay, so what do I actually mean by the agent is your folder? Sounds a bit weird. So let me show you, I guess. Create a brand new folder. I'm gonna say, I don't know, personal website. Call it whatever you want. Inside of it, it's completely empty. Okay, so you could either set up the files manually, but it's easier to just ask the LLM to do it. So inside projects, and I'm sure Claude Code has the same type of thing, so create project, use an existing folder. This won't show us the process, I guess. In here, I go back to my dev folder, and here it is, personal website folder. We created a whole new project that's empty, has nothing. So then, instead of doing it all manually, I say, create an agents.md file that instructs to read and maintain a learnings.md file. Learnings should be concise and only useful info left behind at the end of each run. Agents.md should be evolving and self-correcting. So if agent finds inaccuracies or obviously important context for next time, make sure to update agents.md accordingly. This is super rough. Obviously, there's a million different ways of setting this up, but just this little loop of like keep track of, you have the agents.md refers to a learnings.md, and maybe even let's add this. Most of you people are just posting stuff online, right? So we say also start a brand's guideline file that would keep updating as we work and learn about the brand. And then I say go ahead. I send it off, and it just creates the basic skeleton created inside of our folder as expected. If we go open agents.md as a text file, you could see that it's very concise, very small, and this is what you want. You don't want to preload a ton of things every time the LLM starts, but it has the infrastructure. Now it refers to itself. So next time you begin working inside that folder, simply being inside that folder and creating a new task, you will teach it new things. And if you struggle for a full day about, editing a video, next time it's going to be faster because you just learn about your preferences. And one of the next coolest things I would advise everybody to do is give it access, right? So now we set up a seed. Now you want to give it access. So you would open the browser. Okay, So now I logged it into just a random website. I don't care. It's a draft that never went anywhere. And I'm gonna say, you know what? Give yourself because it needs to gain like FTP access, database access, and a bunch of things, and then it needs to save it safely inside the folder without loading it into the context, without actually putting it in the chat. So, you know, the laziest way is to say, I log you into my admin in the side browser, grant yourself full web admin access, and save it securely in the folder. Then update documentation with the relevant details, and details done. You do that, and it can do everything that a human can do. So it just starts navigating your panel, and you don't even need to understand what FTP means, what MySQL means, what DNS records mean, none of that. It's just like same way as you have a technical new employee joining the team. It doesn't know anything about you, but it knows generally what all these things mean, and you point it at your own access. You say, hey, here's my stuff, go grant yourself access and do all the things that you need to do. And it just goes and does that. And just that little setup of the .md stack plus the access to the website already makes it an assistant, essentially a very useful assistant. You can see that it clicks around, it now has a mouse, it thinks that how do I encrypt this thing. The other thing you probably want to do is drop some kind of an assets folder. So and I just say, hey, go pick from the pictures, and it just goes and picks from the pictures. That folder goes along with you. Now the models can evolve, the tools can evolve, and all you do is you point them to that folder, and it grows with the details of your business, and you never lose that effort.